Innkeeper is another subclass for the Commoner mod that is all about charming and using your grit to basically inflict magical conditions on enemies. Very bardish. So let's go over it. We're going to level by level, comment to all the items you can need. So of course we start with the Commoner modded class, and this will give you your grit. Now this is kind of like superiority dice, and you have a number of d4 grit dice equal to your Commoner level +1, which you can expend to add your attack roll when you would otherwise miss. You can only add a number of grit dice equal to your wisdom modifier to this attack, wisdom being the key stat for this class. We also get rough and ready. So while armoured, you can use a constitution modifier in place of dexterity to calculate your armour class. While unarmoured, your AC equals 10 plus your constitution modifier. We also gain strength and constitution saving throw proficiency, as well as club, dagger, quarterstaff, sling, and light armour proficiencies. And that brings us to the Innkeeper. Innkeepers usually find themselves at the epicenter of their small village. Armed with their country charm and a few coins, these affable folk can befriend anyone. So this will bring you country charm. You're experienced with rough customers and can lace your speech with country wit to charm friend and foe alike. You can expend your grit dice to mimic the effects of certain spells. So we also gain rustic hospitality. We gain proficiency in insight and cannot lower than an 8 on any insight check, which is awesome for, being the face of the party almost. And then we gain our country charm, and as you can see here, we gain vicious mockery, guidance, and friends as cantrips we can use this for. So for your ability points, we're going to have 10 strength, 10 dexterity, 16 constitution, 8 intelligence, 16 wisdom, and 14 charisma, meaning you could use this as the face of your party if you want to. For your proficiency, take whatever fits your roleplay. Commoner level 2 brings a passive, which we'll go over in a minute. We also gain Old Reliable, so we can declare our melee weapon as Old Reliable and use the wisdom for your attack and damage rolls with it. We also gain Charm Person, Heroism, and Tasha's Hideous Laughter as country charm abilities, and each one, as you'll see, costs 3 grit die. And at this point we get to go for some tool tales. Now, I went over all of these in my very first Commoner build guide, which was for the farmer, so if you want to know what everything does, go check that video out. But for this one, we are going to take Tale of the Harrowing Haunt to give us proficiency in religion and intimidation, and add our wisdom modifier to intimidation checks. Commoner level 3 brings Storyteller. Once per rest, recall an old tale from one of your patrons told you. You heard them all, of course, but you can only remember so many at once. And this essentially, you can just pick one of the last things we just went over on those tall tales. Commoner level 4 brings our first feat. And for this one, we're going to take the ability improvement and bump our wisdom up, as this is basically used for everything for this class. Commoner level 5 brings Gumption. So you have 2 new uses for your grit die. When we hit a target with Old Reliable, you can expend a grit dice to add them to your damage roll. You can only expend the same number equal to your wisdom modifier. Or, when we take damage, we can use our dice as a reaction to reduce the incoming damage by a d4 plus your constitution modifier. We also gain Calm Emotion and Enthrall as country charms, and these cost 6 grit each. Commoner level 6 brings Weather the Storm. You may not be able to dodge or deflect incoming blows very well, but you can take a hit better than most. So, when a spell or effect would deal half damage on a successful dex saving throw, it deals no damage if you succeed and only half damage if you fail. You probably noticed this is Uncanny Dodge. We get another tall tale at this point, and for this one we are going to take the Wandering Woodsman, so we can proficiency with short bows and perception, giving us some range capability. Commoner level 7 brings Know-How. You can offer your simple wisdom to others. When an ally makes a saving throw, you can use your reaction to add your wisdom modifier to its roll. You can use this number times equal to your wisdom modifier, much like everything else. Commoner level 8 brings our new feat, and this, you probably guessed it, but we're maxing out our wisdom at 20. Commoner level 9 brings True Grit. Your experience adventuring has toughened your resolve and ability to withstand any hardship. You gain a grit die whenever you begin your turn with none left. We get another tall tale, and for this one we're going to take the Bard. I really like the idea of being an innkeeper and having proficiency with performance and musical instruments. Commoner level 10 brings Full Belly Bravery. After a short or long rest, you gain temporary hit points that you can share with your allies. And while you have these HP, you're immune to Frightened and Charmed, and gain a bonus to saving throws equal to your wisdom modifier. And Country Charm Reduction. The grit dice cost for all your country charm abilities are now reduced by 1. So any that costs 3 now costs 2, and any that costs 6 now costs 5. Commoner level 11 brings Common No More. Your grit dice are now d6s and you gain an additional 10 hit points. Commoner level 12 brings our final feat, and for this one we're going to take the alert feat to boost us up the turn order and ensure we can't be surprised. Okay, let's go over our equipment, and we start with Birthright. Again, being the face of the party, having all those sort of charisma based abilities, we're going to go with Birthright for a charisma +2. We're going to take the Cloak of Protection for +1 to armor class and saving throws. The boots are genial striding, so we're unimpeded by difficult terrain. The studded leather armor, since we're going to use light armor or clothing, this will give you a +1 to your initiative. The gloves of dexterity to set our dex score to 18, again helping us with the turn order. Because we've got a lot of like charming things and things like that, the quicker we can pump those out in a round, the quicker we can nullify enemies. The Ring of Protection for +1 to armor class and saving throws. The Caustic Band for 2 acid damage. The Amulet of the Harps to give us a use of shield and advantage on wisdom saving throws. I have gone with the Harpless Sacred Striker. Now the reason I've gone for this is the fact that it has spiritual weapon, which I think means we can get like a little bit more damage potential out of our build, because what you'll see with the Commoner, with any of the subclasses really, is their damage output isn't amazing. They don't really have many proficiencies with weapons, they don't get extra attacks, anything like that. And then of course the bow, the Darkfire short bow, resistance to fire and cold damage, and a use of haste. So, before we jump into the combat, we know we have our storyteller ability and we can use this to pick one of these. So for example, as you can see, we could, if we want to, take the Mercenary Company, gives proficiency with shield, and then I can come in here, and we can come all the way to the bottom, armor class currently at 20, and when I can find a shield, we'll just take anything, bump ourselves up to 22, boosting our AC. So with that being said, let's go find some combat and check this out. Now one thing I do want to show off quickly, we've left the camp. Let's just take a short rest. And you'll see we gain those 15 temporary hit points thanks to Full Belly Bravery, which now means we also gain a little boost to our saving throws. And we can do Full Belly Bravery here to share the benefits with the rest of our party. So if I do this, there you go. You'll see everyone gained 15 of them. And we still have 13 grit available. Next thing we're also going to do is reliable, and this will make, if we pick the wisdom option, wisdom be our attack number for our staff. Okay, we are in the combat. You can see we're top of the turn order, which is exactly what we wanted. It means we can come in here and we can start using some of our abilities. So let's start with a Vicious Mockery, and we'll put this on Skeeve. And that failed immediately. You love to see it. We'll also use our bonus action to get our Sacred Weapon going, just to make sure we have as much damage potential as possible. See a nice big miss there on our target. See a nice big miss there, followed by another big miss. And then our Spiritual Weapon can come in here and take a slice with a nice big crit. Bringing it to our turn, once again we will try our Vicious Mockery, and let's put this on the Barbarian. And there we go, we landed 7 damage, and now, thanks to Vicious Mockery, we have ensured that they have disadvantage on their next attack roll. Once again, the Spiritual Weapon can come in here, crack out some decent damage, and then back to our turn, let's show up our damage potential with our staff. And there you go, and we can actually increase our damage. So for example, we could spend 3 of our grit die to pump out even more. So let's take Skeeve out finally with our Spiritual Weapon, just like that, another big crit. And then back to our turn, let's try another one of our abilities. So for example, we have Guidance, we can do this, we've got Friends, we've got Heroism, we can Calm Emotions, but we've got things like Enthrall and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So let's try and land this on the Barbarian. And there you go, we have nullified them now. Meaning, thanks to this, we can obviously, if we want to, come in here and stab them, or it just avoids us taking any sort of damage from them for this round. And there you go, because Tasha's Hideous Laughter worked, they lost their range. So with that being said, once again we can just come in here and start chipping away at enemies. And we can get our grit going, and again we'll just spend 1 to pump out a tiny bit more damage, still leaving us with 7. And again, Spiritual Weapon, some big damage, followed by us, and we won't spend any grit this time, we just leave it with our base damage, otherwise our grit is going to be used up so quick. So as cool as this class is, you can see there are some limitations. There's only a certain amount of things you can do. And with no extra attack or anything like this, your damage output is really low, hence why I think having a Spiritual Weapon is worthwhile. So once again, let's just show off a few more of our abilities before we wrap this up, and let's do an enthrall. So we'll target Sledge here potentially, and there you go, we have them enthralled, but again that is your whole turn used, and you can see we've burnt through our grit really quick. So that is the Innkeeper. It's a really awesome one, it's got a lot of awesome flavour to it, you can really make it the face of a party, but there are some limitations so you have to play around them. So really hope you've enjoyed this build guide. If you have, please drop this a like, helps me tremendously, and check the mod out because it is genuinely awesome. If you're ready, please subscribe to the channel as well. I've got more guides to Baldur's Gate, to Dragon Age, Elden Ring, Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers, Sacred 2, Elden Ring Night Rain, basically all the amazing RPGs you could ever need. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.